Hello everyone, welcome to this editor webinar today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chandni and I'm part of the learning and content management team. So I'll be hosting the session today, and joining with me are my colleagues Anita, Nikita and Navaneethan. So if you have a question at any time during the content of the session today, please use the Q&A option to send your question directly to us. So we will try to answer as many as possible today directly in the Q&A field. Please note that we cannot answer any journal-specific questions. For the best view, you may wish to drag the central bar on your screen to the right to enlarge the screen that I'm sharing. So our topic for today is editor training on Editorial Manager. And I hope that in the next 60 minutes, I'll be able to enhance your understanding on this topic. So let's take a look at our agenda for today. Okay. So our agenda for today is we will start with the editor registration and login page, and then we will move on to cover the editor main menu and the to-do list, and how to deal with the new submission in Editorial Manager, how to manage the peer review process, finally, how to submit your decision once the required reviews are completed. We will also be covering some aspects on reporting and administrative functions. And finally, last but not the least, I will also signpost you to some of our editor guide training resources and support that is available for editors and Editorial Manager. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to Editorial Manager. So just give me a moment. Nikita, can you confirm that you're able to see my screen now?
Yes, Chandni, it's all clear.
Thank you, Nikita. So this is our Editorial Manager login page. So this is a training site that we use for the training purpose. So all users are going to be fake. So we are not using any real-time users here. So I'm going to, so if you are already a registered user or a registered editor, then you can just log in with your username and password here. Or if you are a new editor, then you need to register with the journal using your email address by clicking on the register now option here. And sometimes you might notice that this is most probably for guest editors. You might encounter some login issues, or you're not able to register yourself in the journal because the system says that you already have an account. So for such cases, it is probably because of the reason that there might be multiple or duplicate accounts in the backend. So please contact the journal manager, who will be able to sort this out by merging your accounts in Editorial Manager. So if you already have your account login credentials, just click on the editor login here to access the journal as an editor. So this is the main page for editors. So let's start with this simple quick search that you see here on the top right-hand side. So you can search for manuscripts. So basically, you can perform a quick search for manuscripts based on the manuscript number, article title, instead of going through these folders here to find out the manuscript. And on the right-hand side, just above that, you will find your login information, basically your profile details. So you can click on that and you can view your profile. If you would like to change your email address, you can go and update your profile information by clicking on your name that you see on the banner. So depending on your role permissions, you will be able to see the search submissions and search people option here. So basically, you can search for all registered users in the journal using the search people option. And you can search for all the submissions in the journal or only the assigned submissions to you using the search submission field here. So I'm just going to perform a quick search here. So click on search submission. And here I'm going to search for manuscripts for a particular special issue. So I'm going to select this particular special issue here, DNA extraction. And then I click on the search button here. So you will be able to see the search results displayed. So here, this tab which you can see here, so you can basically move these columns just by dragging and dropping them wherever you would like to wish. And also you can customize the columns here by clicking on this grid option. So you can either fix any particular column that you wish to show in the first place, or you can also hide any columns that you don't no, you don't need them. You don't need those columns to be displayed. So you can also hide them just by unticking the checkboxes here. So this is how you can basically customize this grid table, which you see here. And there is also an option where you can save this particular search. So if you are a guest editor again, you can also save this particular search to your main menu just by clicking on the save floppy disk icon here. So here I'm going to, for example, I'm just going to name this as special issue. And then I'm going to click this checkbox here. So only if you tick this checkbox, this particular quick search will appear in your main menu. So now click on the submit button. So now if you go back to your main menu, so you'll be able to find the quick search on the left-hand side under the quick searches here. So if you scroll down, so you can find the quick search that we just saved under the special issue name. So if editors would like to just go through this quick search and then see the manuscript status, basically the statuses of all the manuscripts that has come through for this particular special issue. So this will be an easy navigation for editors. So now let's look into the editor to-do list here. Okay, I'm really sorry. Just wanted to just give me 1 moment. I'm really sorry about that. Let me share my screen again. Nikita, are you able to see my editorial manager screen again?
Yes, Chandni, main page.
Okay. Yeah, so there was a bit of confusion where I was using a different site. Okay, so this is the, so this is the one that I'm prepared to be showing for today's webinar today. So let's focus on this editor to-do list section here. So we will basically go through some of the key folders in your to-do list. So if you are the first assigned editor in a direct to editor workflow, so you'll be able to see these 2 additional folders here. So you will receive all the submissions that that have been submitted to the journal as the first first assigned editor of the journal. So when you click on this folder here, so in this particular workflow, you will have to take an additional step where you will be assigning the paper to yourself. Okay, so before you assign the paper to yourself, clicking on the assign to myself option, you can go through the submission PDF and then you can decide whether you really want to proceed with this particular manuscript or if you want to send the paper back to author for some corrections. So if you would like to proceed with the manuscript here, then you need to click on the assign to myself option. So by doing so, the paper will automatically move to your new assignments folder under your to-do list. So just click on this link here. That will directly take you to the new assignments folder. So from this particular folder, you will have other options where you can assign this paper to another subordinate editor in the workflow, for example, a handling editor. Yeah. So there are also other options that you can actually work on. So before we go into it, I would like to go back to the main menu and show you some of the other key folders. So from the new assignments folder, you can either invite reviewers directly, or you can assign the paper further to a subordinate editor for handling the peer review process. Or you can also make a desk recheck from the new assignments folder here. Once you have invited reviewers for a particular manuscript from the new assignments folder, it will automatically move into the submissions under review folder here. Uh, until the reviewers accept or decline the invitation sent. I'm sorry, it will move into the reviewers invited, no response folder here until the reviewers accept or decline the invitation sent. Once they have responded to the invitation, the paper will then automatically come into the submissions under review folder here. So once the required reviews have been received and it is pending for your final decision, the papers will automatically get lined up in your submissions with required reviews complete folder here. So this is the ideal folder from where you will proceed with making a decision on a manuscript. So we also have some additional folders here to track the manuscripts during the review process. For example, submissions requiring additional reviewers mean there are insufficient number of invited reviewers. So those manuscripts are automatically highlighted in this folder. So you can go ahead and invite more reviewers for those manuscripts. And submissions with one or more late reviews basically alert our editors if there is any review that is overdue. So you can either remind the reviewers manually, or you can, apart from the automatic reminders that are sent, or you can decide to uninvite a reviewer and then invite a new reviewer in order to fast track the review process for that particular paper. So now we are going into the new assignments folders. Before I do that, so you can also see some color codes here. So these color codes directly are related to the manuscript status. So anything that is highlighted in red color means it is overdue in that particular folder and it requires your action. And anything that is highlighted in yellow or amber color means it is going to be overdue. And again, it requires your attention. So you will have to look into those manuscripts and take appropriate action. And the ones that are in green color means that they are on schedule. So these color codes are further cascaded to each manuscript under these folders. So if you click on a new assignment folder, you can directly navigate to the ones that are highlighted in red color, which requires your utmost attention. And you can start taking action either by assigning the paper to a handling editor, or you can invite reviewers and so on. So we also have some other options here under the action column, which we will go through now. Okay, so the view submission link is nothing but you can view the submission in a PDF format using this option. Or if you would like to view the source files that are provided by the author, you can view them using the file inventory option here. You can also download any individual source file if you would like to share them with your peers outside of Editorial Manager. And we also have the similarity check results here. So there is an plagiarism detection tool that is inbuilt in Editorial Manager. So all papers that are submitted to Editorial Manager will be automatically subjected for a plagiarism check. So this basically compares the manuscript against our web repositories and cross-check database, which contains more than 50 million published articles across 200 plus publishers. And the results will provide the similarity report that will highlight areas of similar text or content that coincides with any published articles. And it will also calculate the similarity index that you see here, which is published for editors ease. So there is no benchmark as such that will tell editors that if it is beyond this particular percentage, it is plagiarized, or if it falls within this particular percentage, it is not plagiarized. So this is just like a guideline. So editors will have to go into this report in detail and validate the report in order to find out if the paper is really plagiarized or not. And just below that, we have the duplicate submission check option. So this allows the editors to check any duplicate submissions in the journal by comparing the author details, title, and the abstract. And if you click on this option here, the results will show where exactly the match is found, either within the manuscript title or the abstract or the author details. So that will help the editors to identify if there are any rejected papers that have been resubmitted by the authors once again. So you can have a follow-up with the author to find out the reasons for resubmitting the paper again. And the details option here. So this will basically provide you all the information that have been submitted by the author during the submission process. So if I click on this option here, so you will be able to see, so you'll be able to see the author information, and you also have the small mail icon, which will allow you to communicate with the author. And then you also have the author comments. So these are some personal comments from the author to editor. And if you scroll down below, you can see the abstract, the keywords, the classification topics that are selected by the author. And if you scroll down further, so you can see the editors who are associated with the manuscript. So in this case, you are the first assigned editor, so you see your name. But if it has been assigned further to a subordinate editor or to a handling editor, then you will be able to see who the handling editor is. And then once reviewers have been invited, again, it is the same option, same details link that you will come, and you come down to the reviewer section here to see who are the reviewers who are invited and what is the status of the review. So you can also see author responses to some of the submission questions. And then, so this is basically about the details option here. And this initiate discussion option. So if you would like to discuss about this paper with your peers, you don't have to manage these communications outside of Editorial Manager. You can very well have these discussions within Editorial Manager and also save this information as the legacy information in Editorial Manager, which you can refer back at any time. So you can basically click on this option here. And in order to start a discussion with your peers, you will have to provide a topic for your discussion. For example, is the paper plagiarized? And then some initial comments to kickstart the discussion here. And then you can scroll down, you will be able to see all the editor roles in this journal. So you can select the editors with whom you would like to discuss about this particular paper. For example, if you are planning to assign this paper further to them for handling the peer review process. So then you can scroll down, you can start the discussion without sending them a formal letter, or you can proceed with sending out a customized letter to them. So when they log into Editorial Manager, they will be able to see those discussions that are initiated by you, and they can provide their responses in line with the questions that are raised. So if you go back to your main menu, you will have an additional folder under your to-do list called Submissions with Active Discussion. So the paper will automatically be recorded under this folder as well. So from that particular folder, you can manage all the active discussions which are ongoing, and you can provide your responses on a timely manner. And then we have the history option here. This is more like an audit trail. So this will record any communications that have been sent from the journal. For example, any reminders, any letters or reviewer invitation letter or author decision letter. So you'll be able to see all of those information from the history tab here. And if you have the privilege to edit the submission, you will see this option under your action column. So you can click on the edit submission, and then you can make any changes to the submission metadata. For example, you want to change the article type. If it is more suitable for a special issue or for any other article type, you can change the article type, and then you can once again rebuild the PDF using this edit submission option here. And classification. So if your journal uses classification, then you will see this option. So basically, it will list out all the classification topics that are available for your journal. So you can see all the classification topics that are available on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, it displays all the author-chosen classification topics for this manuscript. So as an editor, you can also add or remove any topics here. For example, I would like to add microeconomics here. So I tick this checkbox, I click on the add button, and then I click on the submit button here. So these classification topics will help you to find the suitable reviewers from the journal list. So when you are trying to select reviewers, this particular option will help you to find appropriate reviewers. And then the assign editor, if you would like to assign this paper further to a handling editor. And then, so these are some of the key links that you will be using on a day-to-day basis. So now let's see how to invite reviewers, which is the most important part of the submission process. So let's click on the invite reviewer option here. So this will take us to the reviewer selection summary page. Okay. So before we look into the options here, you just have to scroll a bit to the left. Okay. So here you will find the default settings, the default review settings for this journal. So if you are the editor-in-chief, you can make any changes to the default settings by contacting your journal manager. Or if you are a handling editor or a guest editor, then you can change these settings for the assigned submissions. Please note that you will have to make these changes for every manuscript that you're handling. So it doesn't mean that you make the changes for one manuscript, it gets reflected for all the submissions that are assigned to you. So basically, this will tell you that the required number of reviews is 2. So which means that once 2 reviews are completed for this manuscript, the paper will automatically move into your required reviews complete folder in order to make a decision on the manuscript. And these are some automatic uninvitation emails for the reviewers. So if a reviewer has not responded to the invitation for 15 days, then which means on the 16th day, the reviewer will automatically get uninvited. And this unassignment is for any agreed reviewers. So if they do not respond within a particular time frame, they automatically get unassigned from the manuscript. So if you see this value as 0, which means this option has been turned off for the journal. But if you would like to switch this on for your manuscript, you can very well go ahead and click on the edit option here. And you can change these values. For example, I decide I need to obtain at least 3 reviews in order to make a decision on this particular paper. And then I would like to have some deadline here for the reviewers, like 7 days or something. So I can click on the save settings. Okay, so now if you scroll down, so this is basically some information about how to use our Find Reviewers tool, which basically uses information from our Scopus database to find suitable reviewer candidates from our Scopus database. So we will see more on that a bit later. So now if you scroll down to the bottom of this page, so the first 5 tabs which you see here, starting from my publication to suggest reviewers. So these options will help you to find reviewers from the journal database. And the last option which you see here, find reviewers using Scopus, will allow you to search for reviewers outside the journal database using our Scopus. Okay, so now let's go through these options one by one. So the My Publication option. So if you already know a reviewer or a user, then you can try searching for the user from the journal database. So this is like by default, this is entire database. So even if the user does not have a reviewer profile in the journal, you will still be able to find the user, and then you can invite them for reviewing this particular manuscript. So there are various criteria that you can use to search and find a reviewer. For example, the last name should be like something like a reviewer, and then I can add on more criteria. So I can search for multiple reviewers in a single search. So I click on add search option, and then the first name should probably start with Sally. And then if you're using multiple identifiers, then probably you will have to select the and option so that it tries to search for reviewers that matches both of these criteria. And then you can click on the search option here. Okay, so let me remove this one and let me try to search for another reviewer. So the last name should start with field. Okay, so now we have, so the search results are displayed here in this table. So these are the actions that you need to take. Either how you would like to utilize these reviewers, whether you would like to invite them, or you want to add them to your alternate list or backup list, or you want to use them as your proposed reviewers. And then you will find details about this particular user in this journal. Clicking on the reviewer name will further allow you to see the uh, activity history of this reviewer, such as the completed reviews, what were the recommendation terms provided for all the completed reviews, and so on. And then you can see the classification topics that match between the reviewer and the manuscript, and then the reviewer statistics and the invitation statistics here. So now I'm just going to randomly select some reviewers here. So invite. So I would like to invite this person straight away, and then I'm going to add this person to my alternate list and Jack Field to my proposed list. So now if I scroll up, so from this particular page, you can still use the rest of the options that I just briefed you about, the other options which will help you to find reviewers from the journal database. You can very well go ahead and select different options from the drop down here. So instead of going back each time, you can very well make your selections from this particular page. So all your selections that you make here will be automatically saved in the system, although you're going to use a different option here for searching a reviewer. So for example, suggested by author. So if the author has suggested any reviewer for his or her manuscript, then you will be able to see any reviewers here, only if they have provided any reviewers. And you can decide whether you would like to use them or not. For example, these are some of the reviewers that are suggested by the author. So this person is, the person does not have an account in the journal. So you can go ahead and register this reviewer in this journal. So an email will be sent to the user in order to create their login credentials in the journal. And once they have created, they will be able to accept the invitation and become a reviewer for this journal. And the other option, search by classification matches. So I'm going to select this option here and I click on the go button. So whenever you select your option from the drop down, remember to click the go button in order to use that particular search option. So these are some of the classification topics that are provided by the author. Remember, we also added a topic microeconomics sometime before. So this has also been added here. So the number next to each of this classification topic indicates the number of reviewers with a classification match. So now you can decide which topics you would like to choose and find appropriate reviewers. For example, I feel that these are the two topics that are most relevant for this manuscript. So I select them and I would like to review the reviewers who have done reviews in the past on these topics. So now I scroll down. So here, the rest of the information presented in this table remains the same. It's just that the classification column will be sorted automatically with the reviewers having the most number of matches. So again, you can select your reviewers here. So I'm going to select this person as my primary reviewer. So I click on the invite option and I want to add Lily to my alternate reviewer. So this means that the reviewer is getting added to my backup list. So only if any of my invited reviewers decline the invitation or if they automatically get uninvited from the assignment, these alternate reviewers will automatically get promoted to review this paper. And the only difference between alternate and proposed reviewers, the only difference between these two options is that these proposed reviewers will not get automatically promoted to review any paper. So they will just be added to the list in your reviewer selection summary page. So later in the review process, if you have exhausted all the reviewers, then you can make use of these proposed reviewers, and you can use them to review, ask them to review manuscripts for, ask them to review manuscripts in Editorial Manager. So now I have once again made my selections here. Okay, and then search by personal classifications. So again, I click on the go button here. So in the previous option, we saw that it does not allow the editor to search for any other classification topics. But in this particular option, the editors will have the privileges to search for reviewers from the complete list of classification topics here. So you can select your classification topics from the journal list, and you can select for suitable reviewers from these classification topics. So that is the added advantage of using this option. Okay, so this suggests reviewers. So before you use this particular option, so there is a link called, okay, I think I'm not able to find. Okay, so now let's go, let's cancel this one. Okay, probably. And I click on search for reviewers. Okay, so some of them are already invited here. So maybe I can just add a few of them again. And then I scroll down. So once I have, so now we have pretty much completed all of these options here, except for suggest reviewers, which I will show you later. So now we have made some selections using these options from the drop down. So now I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click on the proceed button. So the system will automatically categorize the reviewers based on your selections. So these are the people. So basically this person, the system is asking you if you would like to use this particular reviewer from your previous version. So if you would like to use them, then you can click on this checkbox here. Otherwise, you can just ignore. So these are the reviewers who will be automatically invited now. And again, you have the option here where you can customize the invitation letter. So there is a standard template letter that will be sent if you don't customize the invitation letter. If you would like to add some personal touch to the reviewers, you can very well go ahead, click on the customize option here, and you can customize the letter according to your wish. And these are the due dates that is automatically calculated. So from the time the reviewer accepts the invitation, the system will give them 21 days to submit their reviews in Editorial Manager, after which there will be automatic reminders sent, or if there is going to be unassignment turned on, then they automatically get unassigned from the manuscript. And if you get on to this point and you decide that you don't want to invite this reviewer, you can simply tick this checkbox here. So now I'm going to scroll down. So we have our alternate reviewers and then our proposed reviewers. So these are the reviewers that we selected using the various options, the various selection option in Editorial Manager. So they are all listed in one go. So now you can click on the confirm selections and proceed button if you would like to go ahead and invite them for the manuscript. Okay, so now this is just a confirmation that the reviewers have been invited, but the rest of the reviewers, that's the alternate reviewers and the proposed reviewers, they are just added to the manuscript in the reviewer selection summary page, but no notification emails have been sent to them so far. So now I'm going back to the reviewer selection summary. So if you just scroll down, you will be able to see all those invited reviewers and all the alternate reviewers added to the list and the proposed reviewers here. So now before you use the suggest reviewer option here, just scroll to the left-hand side and there is a link called My Suggest Reviewer Preferences. So you can click on this option here. So there are set of criterias which are available in Editorial Manager, and editors can set your preferences based on these criterias. For example, you would like to exclude any reviewers who come from the same institution or same city that of the author. You can tick those checkboxes. So the system will automatically exclude any reviewers from the list, from the journal list, if they belong to the same country or same institution that of the author. And if you would if you don't want to see any reviewers who are not available within the next 30 days, you can also change this value, for example, 15 days if you feel that is too long. And you don't want to see any reviewers who have more than one pending review, I think we can leave this as such. And you can also select your preferences here. So how you would like to order the reviewers based on these preferences. So you can very well reorder this list. For example, if date last review completed is the number one criteria that you are looking for, then you can keep this as one. Or if you would like to change this, you can also add any number and then you can click on this update order. Yeah. So once you click on the submit option, the order will automatically get updated based on your preferences. So now I'm just going to click on the submit button here. So once you have selected your preferences and you click on the submit button, so the system will save all the changes that you have made with regards to the suggested reviewers. So the next time if you are going to use this particular option, reviewers will be automatically generated based on the preferences that you have set in the last time. So again, the option is going to remain the same. You can click on this option and then it will automatically display a list of reviewers based on your criteria. And you can make your selections and once again invite them for your review. So we have almost covered all these options here. So for find reviewers using Scopus, we have published a short video which will give you all details about how this particular tool works in order to find suitable reviewer candidates through Scopus database. So I have now a short video to play for you. So you can watch this video. It's not going to take more than it is going to be less than 5 minutes. So I'm just going to share that. Yeah. So here you go.
Find Reviewers is a search tool that uses Scopus data to find and suggest potential reviewers across Scopus. The tool provides extensive information about each candidate and offers integrated conflict of interest checks, helping you to avoid issues that may impact peer review. It is accessed from the Reviewer Selection Summary screen by clicking Find Reviewers using Scopus. Find Reviewers opens in a new window. You will need to allow pop-ups within your browser for this window to open. Depending on the configuration of your journal, there will be multiple search options available within Find Reviewers. System Recommendations displays up to 100 reviewer recommendations automatically generated for each submission. These reviewers are ranked based on their publication data from Scopus and reviewer history across Elsevier journals. It can take up to 24 hours from the time of submission for these reviewer recommendations to be generated. So if they do not appear the first time you check, please try again later. Clicking on a reviewer name displays more information about them, such as their H-index, link to their Scopus profile, and other useful information.
Apologies, it is actually downloading.
Regarding their author and reviewer experience. There is an option to filter recommendations based on the H-index, expertise, connections, and review history. Once a suitable reviewer is found, click on Add to Manuscript at the top of the screen. Several reviewers may be added in this way, and you can then click Return to Submission to return to Editorial Manager and invite these reviewers or list them as alternate or proposed reviewers. To respect the time and workload of our reviewers, there are some limits applied to the number of reviewers you can select from Find Reviewers, and the system will alert you when you approach this. The Keyword Search tab allows you to perform a keyword search in Scopus. You can add a keyword by typing directly in the keyword search field and clicking Add. The manuscript keywords will be pre-populated in the Suggested Manuscript Keywords entered by the author section. Click directly on the term to add it as a search term. If your journal uses classifications, then these will be listed in the Manuscript Classifications selected by the author section. These can be added to the search in the same way. All terms added will appear in the Keywords section in the middle of the screen. You can amend the Published Since year from the drop-down, as well as changing the search default from All to Any to broaden the search. Once ready, click Search. Potential reviewers will be displayed in order of their matching works. The Author Search tab allows you to perform a direct author search in Scopus. You may search on the author's last name, first name, affiliation, or email address, and must enter a value for at least one field to perform a search. Search results will be displayed in the same way as we have previously seen. Referenced authors is a feature that makes use of the references of the manuscript. Any authors of a paper referenced in the manuscript successfully identified in Scopus will be made available here for potential invitation. This tab will only appear if the manuscript file uploaded by the author is in Microsoft Word format. The next tab is Interested Reviewers. This section displays the details of any reviewers who have expressed interest in reviewing for your journal via Elsevier's Reviewer Hub. Please ensure you evaluate the expertise of any interested reviewers to ensure they are a good match for the subject of the manuscript. Via Journal Reviewers, you may browse active reviewers from your journal database in Editorial Manager. This list shows top available reviewers with a connected Scopus profile. The final tab is Editorial Board Members. This section shows the editorial board members for your journal and is currently restricted to editors who have connected their Scopus profile. Any reviewers you've added whilst using Find Reviewers or previously invited from Editorial Manager will be displayed in the Selected Candidates tab. You may rearrange the order the candidates will display in Editorial Manager by dragging and dropping. Clicking on the expand arrow to the right of each candidate will display more details about them. The Manuscript Details tab displays information relating to the submission, such as the title, manuscript number, keywords, classifications, authors, and abstract. System recommendations and keyword search have their own criteria for recommending candidates. However, for the remaining tabs, you may adjust the results criteria via session preferences. Here you will see the keywords used to identify matching works and may amend these in order to get the best match for this manuscript. New keywords can be added by entering them directly in the box. Keywords can be removed by clicking on the X next to the term. The search parameters can be refined by changing to all. Once all updates are made, click Apply Changes. The list of candidates in the appropriate tabs will then be reordered accordingly. The Conflict of Interest tab within Session Preferences displays all candidates included in the automated checks. Candidates can be included or excluded from the checks by using the toggle button and clicking Apply Changes. Within each search tab, you will see labels added to candidates that could indicate a potential conflict of interest. For example, a red Same Institution label will be displayed next to any candidate based at the same institution as any of the authors of this manuscript. You may add a candidate to the conflict of interest checks by clicking Add to Conflict of Interest. For further information on this, please see our video, Conflict of Interest Checks in Find Reviewers, the link to which will be shared in the chat now. Once you have selected suitable reviewers via the Add to Manuscript option, you may return to Editorial Manager by clicking Return to Submission to invite them or list them as an alternate or proposed reviewer. Now back to our host to continue today's webinar.
Okay, so I hope you find the video useful to know more information about how to use this option to find suitable reviewer candidates for your manuscript. So if you are unable to find a suitable reviewer in spite of all these options available in Editorial Manager, but if you have someone in mind outside of this journal and you wish to add them to the journal database, just click on this register and select new reviewer option here. So you will be able to add them to the journal database, but you will have to provide the first name, last name, and the email address. So an email will be sent to the user in order to complete the registration in the journal. So now if you scroll down here to the bottom of the reviewer selection summary page, so you can see all the reviewers who are selected for our manuscript. So we have invited 2 reviewers here. And at any point, you can uninvite these reviewer or you can send them any manual reminders. And if one of these invited reviewers are going to decline the invitation, then automatically the first person in the queue will automatically get invited to review this paper. But if you would like to change this order, you can simply click on, just hold on to this grid option here and you can move around to change this order. And you can also promote this particular reviewer. For example, if you would like to go ahead and invite the reviewer, you can click on this promote this alternate reviewer, or you can also link this particular reviewer with one of your invited reviewers by clicking this link icon here. So by clicking on this icon, the system will ask you to link this reviewer with one of your primary reviewers who have been invited already. So I'm going to link this reviewer with James Khan. So by linking this reviewer to one particular primary reviewer means that if James Khan is going to decline the invitation or gets uninvited from the manuscript automatically, then Lily Stanley will automatically get invited to review this paper, although there are other alternate reviewers in the queue. So this is the advantage of linking a reviewer. So if you would like to remove, unlink them, just click on this unlink option so that they automatically go back to the alternate list here. And then if you scroll down, we have the proposed reviewers, as I said. So these proposed reviewers will not receive any kind of notification from the system that they have been added to the manuscript, unless and otherwise, if the editors feel that you would like to invite them or you want to add them to your alternate list if all your invited reviewers have been exhausted. So you can make use of these reviewers, either invite them or you can add them to your alternate list. So this is pretty much about the inviting reviewers option that we have. So now let's go back to the main menu and continue with making a decision once the required reviews are completed. So for that, you will have to access the submissions with required reviews complete folder from your to-do list. And then before you make your decision, you can view the reviews and comments here by clicking view reviews and comments link. So you can see there's one reviewer who has completed a review with a minor revision. So you can click on the recommendation term. You can see the review comments here. If you scroll down, you can see confidential comments to you as an editor. And these are comments to the author that will be automatically pre-populated in the decision letter sent to the author. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you can also see there is some reviewer attachment. So you can download a copy of this if you want. So the authors will be able to download only a sanitized copy of this reviewer attachment that will remove any reviewer identity in the attachment. So now, if the reviewer writes to you telling that he or she has mistakenly submitted their comments, but they still would like to do a complete review on this paper, you can reopen the review until a decision is made. You can use this reopen review option here to put the paper back into the reviewer profile. So they have a second chance to submit their comments once again in Editorial Manager. So now I'm going to cancel this, go back, and then I'm going to click on submit editor's decision and comments button here in order to proceed with making my decision. So I select my decision terms from the standard list of decision terms available, which will vary from journal to journal depending on the requirement. So I'm going to select minor revision here. So these are confidential comments to the editor. So if you are a handling editor and all decisions are made by the chief editor, then you can pass any confidential comments to the editor-in-chief using this box. But however, if you have the privileges to make the final decisions and notify the author, you can simply ignore this particular box here and go ahead. So here you can enter any comments to the author. scroll down. So these are some individual reviewer comments. If you find that any of the statements are conflicting, then you can probably amend them as you wish before they get cascaded to the author. And then you scroll down, and then these are some decision phrases. So if you would like to incorporate some of these decision phrases into your author decision letter, you can simply click on this checkbox here, so that particular statement gets incorporated into the author decision letter. So these are some additional questions. So click on the proceed button. So now scroll down. So in this particular page, if you would like to make any changes to your decision, then you click on edit decision, or you can go back. Or if you are like, you have finalized your decision, just click on proceed to notify the author. So in this particular page, you can see the decision letter corresponding to the decision term that you have selected. So this is the template letter for minor revision. So here you can amend this letter by customizing it. If you would like to add some personal touch to the author. Please do not make any changes to these merge codes here that you find between the percentage symbol. So the information is automatically pulled from the journal database. So now you can preview this letter. So if you scroll down to the bottom of this letter, you can see the comments, the editor comments and the reviewer comments are automatically pulled into the decision letter here. So you also have the reviewer attachment. Please make sure that you tick this checkbox here in order to grant access to the author, so that they will be able to download this reviewer attachment from the decision letter. And you can also preview this letter. If you have made any changes, then you can preview this letter before you send it to the author. So we just added the statement here. So remember, these merge codes will automatically populate the information from the database. So please do not make any changes to these merge codes. So now once you have decided, you can click on the send now button in order to send out the decision letter to the author. Or if you would like to save and close it, come back to it later, click on save and close. So I'm just going to click on send now. Okay, so we have pretty much covered all aspects of which is like essential for an editor. So now if you have the privileges to access the journal reports, then you click on this reports option here. I'm just going to briefly take you through some of the most important reports that we have. So just click on this reports option. And then I'm going to take you through the assignment status report that you find under the editor reports here. So click on this assignment status report. So you can either choose all editors or you can run this report for one particular editor. So I'm just going to choose all editors here. And you click on, so these are some parameters that will limit your results based on this article type, section category. You can also tick this checkbox if you want to create a data file for your search results. Click on submit. So this report will allow you to see all the manuscripts that are handled by you. If you are a handling editor, but if you are a chief editor, I mean, if you are an editor in chief, then you can see all the manuscripts that have been handled by different handling editors. So you can go into the invite reviewer option here if you want to invite any reviewers, additional reviewers for the manuscript. Or if you are assigned to this particular submission, then you can go ahead and make your decision straight away by clicking on this option here. Or you can click this option send reminder if you want to remind this reviewer of this particular submission. So there will be automatic review reminders that are sent. Sorry, this is for the editors. Sorry. So you can remind any particular editor of any pending submissions that have not been that has not been actioned properly. So you can remind them, or you can click this check all option if you would like to remind all the editors in this particular report. And then click on the send reminders option here. So now I'm going back to the reports option. And then we are going to see the next one we are going to see is the review performance report. So this report, basically, it will give you a summary of the reviewer activity for all the submissions that are received by the journal office during a selected time period. Either you can select the time period from the drop down here, or you can also select a customizable date range using this calendar icon. And then you can the results, you can limit or you can filter these results based on these criterias. So you can select them. And there are other parameters that you can also select, and you can click on the submit button here. So you can use this report to see how the reviewers are performing in your journal. So basically the reviewer name, this is the statistics of the outstanding invitations, and this is the statistics like how long does the reviewer take to submit their comments on time, and then an average number of reminders that are sent to the reviewers. Okay, so let's go back to the reports once again. The next report that we're going to see is the editor performance report. So again, you can run this report to see the activity of all the editor assignments for a selected time period. Again, you can select using this radio button, or you can choose a date range using this calendar icon. But you will be able to see you will be able to run this report only for one editor at a time and not for all editors. So in this example, I'm just going to select last year, and I'm going to run this report for Serena, and I'm going to click select all, and I click on submit. So this will basically show the editor assignment summary, the number of assignments handled by this editor, the decision summary. So how many decisions, what are the decision terms that have been utilized, and how many decisions have been made for each decision term, and what is the average time taken to reach this decision, and if it was without peer review or with peer review. And this is the editor performance statistics, average time taken by the editor from assignment to inviting the first reviewer, average time taken from submission to making a final decision, and so on. So you can find all the values here. But as I said before, you can run this report only for one editor at a time. And the last report is the journal accountability report, again, which you can find just below the editor performance report. So this is basically, you can run this report at a journal level. So that this is just an extension of the editor performance report, which you can run at a journal level. So this is pretty much about the reporting, some of the most important reporting options that we have in Editorial Manager that is useful for editors. So now I'm going to go back to my presentation to just brief you about the special issue report that we have. Okay, so this is the automated special issue reminder report that can be configured for every special issue to include the special issue deadlines, which will allow the guest editors to have a more informative, quick view of their workload. So if guest editors are working on multiple special issues within the journal, it is also possible to combine the manuscript statuses of different special issues into the same report. So if you are interested in this report, please contact your journal manager to discuss implementing this report for your special issue. So this is more advantageous for anyone who is a guest editor in this session here. So now I'm going to go back to my to Editorial Manager. So I just wanted to cover this editor guide that you see here. So if you click on the small question mark symbol here, you can find the publishing support center where we have the editor guide. So you can, there are lots of learning materials that are available for editors in this editor guide. So you can make use of them. So we also have some training videos that are available in different languages. So depending on your role, you can select the appropriate option here, and then you can find relevant articles and videos. If you are not sure about how to use a particular feature or an option in Editorial Manager, please watch these short videos that will enlighten you on how to use these options and perform your task as an editor. So that's pretty much about it. So I'm going to, so we have almost come to the end of the session today. So I'm just going to, yeah, I'm just going to launch a quick poll now, which you can see on your screens. So, and I'm going to hand over it to my co-host Nikita to just go over any frequently asked questions today in the session. Thank you so much, Nikita, for taking us through these questions. That was very helpful. So that brings us to the end of our webinar today. Please take a few moments to complete the poll before you plan to leave the meeting. So that will really help us to refine our content and then give more sessions like this. So, and after the session, we will also send you an email that will contain some helpful links to the recording of the latest playlist on this particular topic, videos to some short video guides and full Editorial Manager training videos and a self-help editor guide. So please look out for that email. So thank you for joining us once again. See you next time.